The biggest UFC fight in history almost didn't start with both fighters in the room. Las Vegas, Park Theater. A storm was brewing. Fans packed the venue. Dana White paced nervously. Cameras were rolling. The UFC lightweight champion sat stone-faced in front of a hostile, roaring crowd. But where was Conor McGregor? While the world waited on one man, Khabib Nurmagomedov made a move that shook UFC history. He got up and walked out. And that's where this story begins.
Hey guys, 15 minutes. 15 minutes, I'm here. This guy didn't come. This is big disrespect.
The most anticipated fight in UFC history. In 2018, the UFC wasn't just promoting another title fight, it was selling war. Khabib versus Conor was bigger than a championship match. It was a collision of countries, egos, and beliefs. Conor McGregor, the notorious showman and former double champion, was finally returning to the octagon after years away. And his opponent, an undefeated Dagestani beast, Khabib Nurmagomedov, dominance. Trash talk had already gone nuclear. The infamous Brooklyn bus attack, the insults about Khabib's religion, family, and country, it was all boiling over into a UFC 229 main event that fans believed could erupt at any second. And then came the final press conference on Thursday, October 4th, 2018, just 2 days before fight night. Everyone expected fireworks. What they got was silence. Khabib shows up. Alone, at exactly 3 p.m. local time, the doors opened at the Park Theater in Las Vegas. Khabib Nurmagomedov entered the stage like a soldier on a mission, dressed simply, face unreadable, championship belt shining on the table. The crowd, loud, aggressive, overwhelmingly pro-McGregor. But Khabib sat down anyway, calm, unbothered, unmoved. Then, nothing. Conor McGregor was nowhere to be seen. Minutes passed. The music kept playing. The cameras stayed on. Dana White tried to keep it together. Reporters, sensing the tension, began lobbing questions at Khabib, knowing this wouldn't last long. Khabib didn't waste time with jokes or bravado. He made it clear he was not here to wait on anyone. 15 minutes. I'm here. This guy is not, he said firmly. This is big disrespect. He looked out at the crowd, raised his belt, and added, I am UFC lightweight champion. This is my belt. You could tell he was irritated, not just by Conor, but by the entire spectacle around him. But it wasn't just pride. Khabib was cutting weight. Thursday was the toughest day of his week. He had limited energy, and every minute mattered. I have schedule, he said. He stood in front of the media, awkward, forced to improvise while the entire arena buzzed with confusion. No one really knew what was happening. Had the biggest press conference in UFC history just ended in 15 minutes, without both fighters even facing off? Not quite, because 25 minutes after the scheduled start time, Conor McGregor finally appeared. The showman arrives, late, loud, and liquored up. When Conor McGregor walked in, the energy shifted instantly. Wearing a sharp suit and sunglasses, holding his signature whiskey bottle like a trophy, McGregor took the stage like it was a late-night talk show. But it was too late. The man he came to taunt was already gone. Still, Conor did what he always does. Talked. He mocked Khabib's walkout. He blamed him for not staying. He called him scared. He waved his whiskey. He talked trash about family, religion, business, anything to get headlines. I don't care what Khabib said. I don't care if he left, Conor yelled to the crowd. He doesn't want this smoke. But this time, the loudest man in the room was shouting into a vacuum, and the silent one had already won the moment. Two opposite worlds. This press conference wasn't just about timing. It revealed everything about who these two men were. Conor McGregor, brash, explosive, master of promotion, willing to do anything for attention, especially if it sells PPVs. Khabib Nurmagomedov. Cold, calculated, unshaken, focused on legacy, not likes. Khabib believed respect was earned with actions, not words. That being on time was a sign of honor, not weakness. And this wasn't new behavior. He'd always operated on discipline, not drama. That's why walking out wasn't a tantrum. It was a statement. "I am not here for games," Khabib had said earlier that day. "I came to fight, not play." The fallout. The press conference might have been chaotic, but the message was clear. Khabib wasn't going to play Conor's game, and fans started taking notice. Social media exploded. Khabib is all business. He doesn't need to talk trash. He is the trash taker-outer. McGregor showed up late to a battle Khabib had already won. For once, Conor's verbal dominance didn't land the same way. And 2 days later, on October 6, 2018, at UFC 229, Khabib let his fists do the talking. Khabib didn't just beat McGregor, he dominated him. For 4 rounds, he outgrappled, outstruck, and outsmarted the Irish superstar. And when he submitted McGregor in round 4 with a brutal neck crank, it was more than a victory. It was a message. Talk all you want, but inside the octagon, respect wins. The post-fight chaos with Khabib. It was Khabib sticking to his principles in a sport full of noise. He showed up, he honored the schedule, he handled his business. When the other man showed up late, Khabib had already made weight, taken questions, and left. No shouting, no theatrics, just presence. It was a rare moment in sports where silence spoke louder than any microphone. So, the next time someone tells you, press conferences don't matter, just remember that day in Las Vegas. Because sometimes, the man who walks away earns more respect than the one who shouts the loudest. What do you think? Did Khabib win the mental game that day? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like, subscribe, and tap the bell for more untold UFC stories, legendary face-offs, and drama you never saw coming, only here on Nina Scoop.